you want to get some exposure to gold, but you do not want to be diluted into high heavens, then these are two companies that you should definitely take a look at. Hello, my name is Fabi, and this is the next big rush, and let's talk gold. I just read an amazing piece of news, I guess you could call it, saying that the US is actually admitting to looking at re-rating gold. I mean, this is the stuff that dreams are made of. If you're a gold bug, you know what I'm talking about. I didn't think that this was going to be a reality, but it seems like this administration is taking gold very seriously. Central banks all around the world are buying gold, and if you want more exposure to gold, or if you want to like move around the pieces on your chessboard, and you want to get good quality companies that have a real shot, let's not talk about a real shot. Let's talk about multiple shots on gold without the dilution that comes with junior mining, which is the plague of their the bane of their existence, a plague that seeps into pretty much all junior mining companies that want to do something great. It's dilution. If you don't want any of that, then take a look at these two companies. One is Headwater Gold. The second one is Latin Metals. Now, disclaimer, I do own shares in Latin Metals, and they're also a partner of this show. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. But Headwater Gold, I don't own yet. I might buy it in the open market. I might have already bought by the time that you see this video. I don't know when you're going to watch this. But as of right now, I don't own it yet. But it is a great company, and I would highly recommend anybody to take a look at it. Why do I like these two companies? First of all, these are essentially project generators. Maybe they didn't set out to become project generators initially, but that's what they have become with time, because they did the right thing at the right time. So we're just out of a really bad gold market where you could have picked up assets for pennies on the dollar, and assets with a lot of upside. Two jurisdictions that these guys work on is, well, Headwater Gold is in the USA, which is a great jurisdiction right now, and Latin Metals is in Latin America, most focused on Argentina, hot jurisdiction, and Peru, soon to be, again, a hot jurisdiction. This is my prediction. And they picked up some excellent ground, both companies, with Headwater, as far as I understand, most focused in gold, and Latin Metals, both gold and copper with some silver as well. And so these two companies, they did exactly what we're supposed to do as investors and speculators in this market, which is when the market is down, you buy the assets that are quality assets that nobody is truly looking at. And so they built this portfolio, and instead of trying to dilute, raise a bunch of money and drill, which wasn't going to be possible with the kind of market that we had just recently, they sat on some of these projects, worked on them a little bit, and kind of proved the concept that there was lots of potential and lots of upside on these different projects that they have. And so they built up their company, they built up the assets when the market was giving the assets away. And now that we're coming back, these assets are worth a heck of a lot more. And you will see the kind of deals that they've been able to get just recently. So timing is number one. This is what they got right. Timing. They did the right thing at the right time, and they grew their assets at the right time. Secondly, team. You can look at both these teams and you can see that these people have been doing this for a while, but also that they have had some success on both companies. And also that these are very, very strong tech teams. They have the know-how, the geological know-how to make something like this work. And that's what you need in order to have a successful junior mining company. So take a look at Keith Henderson and what he's done in the past, and as a CEO of Latin Metals, how he is really the person to lead this company. But also Caleb Stroop, great guy. I've met him before as well. And he is just the Nevada guy for me. He really knows his stuff, knows where the good stuff is in Nevada. And I don't think there's anybody better than him to be leading Headwater right now. So you have the timing, you have the team, now you have the assets and the deals. So the assets that these guys got were such good quality that we can see now the start of the realization of majors coming in and doing deals with them. For example, Latin Metals has a deal with Mochico. They have a deal with Anglo as well. And they have some other conversations happening in the background. I really do expect them this year to be announcing new deals with some of their other projects. Anglo doesn't do a deal unless they think that they can get 5 million ounces out of a project. So if they are looking at the rocks and figuring that it's worth a shot and it's worth the many millions that they're going to be putting into the ground because they see something geologically speaking that is of merit. On the other hand, you have Headwater Gold with two deals, actually. One with Newmont and another one with OceanaGold. The OceanaGold one is very recent. And what I really like about it is that they retain a 10% management fee. This is a big deal. It's a $65 million deal for 3 of their projects, and they will keep 10% of that. That is going to give them a sweet runway, and I would be very surprised if they came back to market unless they want to drill some of their own projects. So lots and lots and lots to look forward to. The reason why I'm bringing these two companies to you right now is both companies are on the cusp of lots of really big news. And when I say big news, it's not just the announcement of doing deals with majors. That is awesome. We're here for that. But it's the fact that then these companies are going to go out and drill, and they're going to be able to, hopefully report some of the positive drilling that comes out of these deals. In both cases, the major company can earn, up to a majority of the project, but then they will retain usually a royalty or a last percentage of the project. And obviously, these are businesses. Anything is on the table. Anything is buyable. But at the end of the day, if the major companies want to buy these projects out, they are going to have to spend a pretty penny in order to do so. And by then, company will be at a much better position, and they will be also trading, I assume, at a much higher price. So the timing for gold is very special right now. I think we're on the cusp of possibly a big move in the metal in and of itself. But even if we're not, if nothing changes, these companies are set. They have cash in the bank. They have tiny G&A, and they have lots of news flow coming in the next 6 to 12 to 18 months. So if you wanted to get some exposure to that, that's what I would do right now. Get the companies that are doing deals with majors, because that's the end game. Let's be honest. The end game is that juniors find something of value that a major wants to probably overpay for. That's the dream. And so if you want some exposure, I would highly recommend that you add these two to your watch list. In fact, the Organullo project by Latin Metals that will be drilled by Anglo is just expanded recently. They've just expanded the footprint and caught some more land. I think the strike is something ridiculous, like 10 kilometers, big project. And so I brought on Alicia Patterson, their VP of Investor Relations, to talk just briefly on this piece of news and what it means for the company and what you should be looking at as an investor. So let's check it out. Okay, I just love that you guys have a project with such a serious partner. And the news dropped not that long ago that you're actually expanding this area. Can you first give the viewers a little bit of an overview of the Organullo project itself and why it's so important for Latin metals, please?
Okay, well, we just expanded our Organullo Gold Project in the Salta province by uh, doing the adjacent claim, Malena 6, and it's just over 1,000 hectares. And well, we don't have the map, but if you look at the original area and where AngloGold wants to drill, the natural progression is to actually have this extension of the project because it's strategically important for AngloGold Ashanti's drill program later this year.
Okay, when you say later this year, this is really exciting. Um, Anglo has a lot of different projects all over the world, and they have a few, they don't partner with just any junior, but they do partner with some strategic juniors where they see there's geological merit to the project. Um, what is the expectation here? Are they looking for copper? Are they looking for gold? Are they looking for copper, gold, silver? Like what does the project have to offer?
They're looking for mostly gold. Um, so that's what they're looking for. Their target is 5 million ounces. So that's what they think that is technically there. Um, so with this new extension, it actually expands it by 4 kilometers to the southwest. And so now our project, Organullo, can now cover 10-kilometer trend of alteration. So this has a, a bigger increase or bigger land position that can actually expand that target that they're looking for.
Awesome. That is really exciting. What else can you tell me about this deal that you guys have with Anglo?
Well, under the deal currently, they have 75% ownership. And the next year we're getting about they have to pay about 2.7 million roughly to us US over the term. And the term is getting closer to the end. So next year, if they continue with the option payments, we're getting about 800,000 US coming to us. And the next year after that, it's about 1.2 million US. And just to let you know, like Latin Metals runs annually on 2 million Canadian. So if you look at our one partner providing us option payments, we technically probably will never go back to market as um, our 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 options and warrants are some of them are expiring end of October. They're currently in the money, so we're looking to probably finish this year with 3 million Canadian in our bank, and that doesn't even account for potential partners coming in as well, giving us option payments.
That's awesome. I love it that you guys don't really have to dilute. I mean, obviously, if there's a great project that comes along and you want to raise for it, then you can, but you already have so many projects in your portfolio, you may not actually want to do any of that. That is rare. And when a company with great projects comes along like this, I I encourage people highly to take a look at it and consider investing in something like this. Alicia, thank you so much. Is there anything more that you want to leave potential investors with? People that have maybe added Latin metals to the watch list. Why is now the most important time for them to be taking a look at you?
Well, I have to say that this the most important time is it's been really not boring. I've been with the company for about 5 years now. This is the most exciting time to be watching Latin metals as we have AngloGold potentially drilling, or not potentially, but will be drilling later this year, October. And we have Cerro Bio potentially having a partner for that. And that has a drill permit associated with that project. So for investors, we have potentially two projects drilling at the end of this year. And that doesn't even include Esperance and Huachi with Mochico Resources. And that we're expecting to have a drill permit potentially for those projects in Q1 of next year. And they're doing really great work working with the communities and engaging with them. And that's just in Argentina. We also have projects in Peru, and we have boots on the ground, tier one mining companies to private companies, all looking at different things. So I would say that either this year or early next year, those will be rolled out to partners, and drilling will be on those. Laksha has a drill permit. It's a copper project in Peru. That has a drill permit associated with it. So think drilling on that. So this is just the start. We will probably have, I would say by next year, four projects drilling minimum. And this is just the start of the continuation that we're also going to get more properties in the Latin Metals project portfolio. So for an investor or potential investor, you know, this is exciting because we might not be going back to market to get, to dilute our shareholders because the more partners coming in will provide us money for our G&A. So, and our partners fund the drill program. So you as an investor know that your money's going into the company and that's what your position will be
That's
if
awesome.
everything works out.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, no financial advice, and we're both very biased. But that's it. This is what separates Latin metals and this business model away from your average junior that unfortunately has to dilute in order to, drill these really interesting projects. And to summarize, Latin metals is on the cusp of a ton of news flow, in some of the hottest jurisdictions, some of the really up and coming jurisdictions right now. There are certain places in the world that are cooling off a little bit, and certain places that are, in my opinion, becoming more and more attractive. Argentina, definitely one of them. And Peru is, I would say, one of the latest ones to start catching a bid. I have never seen so many Peru-based and Peru-focused new companies as I have seen in the last, I want to say, 30 to 60 days. So something's happening in Peru. I don't know what, but I think that we're going to hear some news coming from a lot of companies, maybe including Latin Metals, towards doing deals in Peru. So Alicia, thank you so much. And I will definitely catch up with you very soon.
Thank you, Fabi. It's always a pleasure. And thank you for everyone's watching. If you liked what you hear and want to know more, please reach out to me, schedule a call. I'm more than happy to go over a prospect generator model. I know that we have a lot of projects. It gets a little overwhelming, but the ones that you really have to look at is Esperanza, AngloGold, and Cerro Bio. Those are our three most catalyst key ones that we'll be delivering in the near term.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.